Good Sunday morning, everybody. I'm coming to you right now from Hilo, Hawaii at about 20 after 10 in the morning. Um, and I'm not going to lie, I kind of struggled with this message, so bear with me through this one. And I apologize when I said I was going to try to do some new stuff this week. I just didn't get a chance to really actually look into it a little bit more. I did start looking into it, so hopefully by next week it'll have some interesting new features in these videos. But I wanted to get this out as soon as I could today because I'm actually cooking today. Even though we can't go anywhere or invite anybody over, I am actually cooking. So, anyway, I hope everybody's day has been good so far. Um, so, we'll just kind of get right into it. When I was a kid, Easter was like another Christmas. It was a big deal. We would wake up and race to the living room to find out what the Easter Bunny dropped off for us in our snazzy baskets. We'd squeal at the amount of candy we got, and if we were fortunate enough, there might have been a few extra surprises inside. And then, of course, there were the Easter clothes that the furry little miracle would leave behind so you could look all GQ going to church and Sunday school later that morning. After church, it was off to Grandma and Grandpa's house for a grand lunch or dinner, however late you got there. And if you were lucky enough, another round of searching for those eggs the Easter Bunny happened to also leave there. Plus, you got more candy and treats and more baskets. So, as I got older, though, the holiday changed, as they all do, and it became more about gathering with family and everyone coming home to visit and be together after being apart since Christmas and New Year. Now that I'm in Hawaii and so far from those family members, the holiday has changed even a little bit more for me. Now it's about getting together with the ohana of friends I have built since being here and catching up over a table full of goodies and great food and drinks. And like I said, I'm even cooking today. I'm making a turkey. Yes, I grew up in a family that went to church. Yes, I was confirmed a Methodist, and yes, I totally understand the reason behind Easter. I always keep the resurrection and its meaning in my mind and heart when Easter time comes around, and my family was always sure to include that lesson when we were all together for the holiday. But this year I really did struggle. I struggled because Easter, or spring if you don't think about the holiday as Easter or whatnot, is supposed to be a time of rebirth and looking toward a bright future. It's not so much that I struggle to see it for what it is. Excuse me. In fact, I have a friend who just had twins, and my baby sister is almost ready to pop out a set of twins herself. Plus, living in a tropical place, it's hard not to see all the plants and animals breaking out from their winter modes. I just struggle because of what's happening in so many places around the world right now, and even here in the U.S. Many people aren't able to celebrate Easter this year with some loved ones who have been sickened or worse by the coronavirus. The economy has turned sour because of the coronavirus. The nation remains divided because of the coronavirus. It seems everything we do now is directly related to something that goes against everything Easter and springtime are supposed to be about. I can't even invite friends over to help eat the turkey I'm making today, and I'm sure many of you are in the same boat when it comes to your own families and friends. Most people couldn't even attend Easter church services in person today because of the coronavirus. The whole virus thing has turned the world on its end. So yes, I struggled. In fact, I struggled even to figure out what I was going to say in my Easter message today for everybody. But then I realized something. I realized the struggle is part of the message. Every one of Jesus' disciples struggled at one point or another until they met the man. Then, after he was crucified, they all hid together for 3 days, staying out of the world at large, before he rose and came back to them. And even Thomas still had doubts. And then there was Jesus. He even struggled with what would be his fate. And regardless of how many of us revere the holiday for what it's become, there will be no Easter without death. After all, Jesus could not have risen if he would not have been crucified. So struggling really is human. We all struggle at certain points in our lives. Some of us struggle every day. But struggling is just a part of the journey. It's part of nature. And the rebirth, the resurrection, is when we realize there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Something better than we were before. And we work to get there to experience the other side for ourselves. That's what this pandemic is showing us. Outside of all the bad stuff, And for the first time in a long time, we all need to work together to end the struggling and suffering caused by it, so we can all get to the other side safe and better for the experience. Do you think Jesus, if he were alive today and now, do you think he'd be saying, let's all go back to normal after it's all said and done? Do you think he'd just be resisting, or excuse me, just be resting on his laurels and saying everything will be great once the virus passes? Of course he wouldn't. It's time for all of us to come together and realize that normal just isn't going to cut it after the coronavirus is contained. If we simply go back to normal, nothing will ever get better, and we'll simply fall back into whatever you call the debacle that was society before this all started. It's time for us to take a cue from God and change our circumstances. He didn't send his son to earth for us to squander what that meant. And the universe doesn't give organisms as smart and talented and adaptable as human beings challenges we can't overcome. I know it all sounds too big of a task to change the world, but Jesus did that one disciple at a time, and he did it after he did it before there was even Christianity. And he was crucified for what he believed. He did it through the lessons, and then after he was crucified, pardon me, I'm sorry, I'm a little tongue-tied right now. Even after he was crucified, he spread that change through the lessons he passed down to his followers, and then through them as they went out into the world and spread his message. So yes, struggle and learn the lessons those challenges are meant to teach. Keep an open mind, because God doesn't always tell you exactly what he means. The whole God works in mysterious ways thing. And know that you can make a difference, even if it's just in your own life, or family, or community, or whatever. When we all realize we're in this together, no matter race, religion, sex, sexual orientation, creed, etc., that's when true change happens. And Jesus died on the cross not for us to constantly remind each other how different we are, not to constantly bicker and fight with each other, not to get our way or nothing else, and not to hate. He died to help us learn that not only is resurrection possible in the spiritual form, but that we have the ability to change and create our own resurrection as a collective group and make ourselves and the world better when the time is needed. So I'm not struggling anymore with how to celebrate this Easter. I'm going to be the best person I possibly can be and try to live up to what Jesus taught. That's part of the struggle, but I'm glad I have all of you and everyone in the world here to help. So please, if you'd like, pray with me. Dear God, thank you for allowing us to celebrate your love for this world and mankind by offering your Son as our guide. Thank you for continuing to watch over us and for the struggle we endure to get closer to our best and closer to you. Thank you for providing us with a path toward righteousness and a chance to make the world better. And please keep us all safe and allow us to continue your work. Amen. So with that, happy Easter, everybody. Hope everybody has a great day, filled with as much family and friends as possible. I know it's really hard right now, but just remember, we'll get through this. All right? Thanks, guys. Have a good Easter.